Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today we're going to set up, play and review the game Flamme Rouge. Now just to let you know, this does actually have the meteo expansion in it, but we'll be talking to you about that another time. In this particular game, for 2 to 4 players, by a designer who have already featured on the channel. You can find the videos relating to Copenhagen, so please check that out on the channel. Asger Harding Granud, who I have met. I've met both him and Daniel, who is like his gaming partner, who create games together. So inside here we've got stuff which we will not normally find in here, it's only because it's been sorted, and that ultimately represents different ways you can store the game away. So if ever you play Keyforge, it's a good thing to use these pieces. So let's get this everything out and then show you how it plays. If you are interested in this channel, please of course hit the like button, subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be informed of course when there are videos coming out. As well as that, please, if you wish to try and join in any kind of competitions, you can do so by heading through to that description in YouTube. Commenting in YouTube is best as well. And if you want to join this competition, check out Linktree. And via Linktree, there are again occasionally competitions, but please ensure you check back occasionally as they are time sensitive. Aside from that, there's various pieces here and also lots of photos, also on Instagram, over 2,750 posts presently, and numerous ones relating to Flamme Rouge as well. To choose your colour, I'll go blue, we have someone else playing red. Whoever last rode a bike can choose where you start. So let's just chuck out a few of these pieces. There are lots of different maps you can play. I've played the Grand Tour. So here we are, we have a start piece. So you're going to have your character. So let's grab out everyone related to that character. So everything in here is blue. So you're going to have a blue rouleur. A rouleur is pretty much an all-rounder. And you have a sprinter. So S for sprinter, standing up, pushing hard on the pedals, and rouleur that is grinding away. So you're going to go first, if you happen to have ridden that bike first, and place it wherever you like on that start line. Again, you're going in this direction. So let's place it right near the front. You don't have to. Let's do that. Then it's their turn. And they're going to chuck out, I don't know, let's say they're playing red. So we've got blue, we've got red over here. And they're going to go next to me, this time with a sprinter behind. Let's chuck my rouleur up front as well. Or maybe I don't want to. Maybe I want us to keep it back. But for now, let's just do this. And then we also finally have their last character as well. Again, I'm just showing you 2 players, but you can, of course, play this 3 and 4 as well. So there we are, lined up as such. You're then going to take your respective decks. So in this case, we have got a deck for a certain player here, and they're going to look through their cards and they're going to have them on the respective sides. So over here, we have R for rouleur, so they're going to go here, and we have S for sprinter. So you're going to give these a shuffle up, and there's a little player aids telling you the distribution. So as you can see, the sprinter is very punchy at the higher end, whereas the rouleur is very much an all-rounder. They can't go very slow because they don't get tired as easily, but ultimately, they're somewhere in the middle. That's to keep in reference, and over here it does tell you about how it works. So now let's set up our decks. So we've set up one character. We're now going to set up that other character too, just to show you how it works in that 2-player mode. So again, you're going to have your deck of cards. You're going to be shuffling these up and shuffling these up too. And then you're choosing where you want to go. So in this instance, let's just show you a standard bit of track, but I'll show you how that can vary. We could have a finish line like this, have it nice and short, and I'll show you how we have other sections. So in here we have a steep section. So it means that going uphill, which means the maximum value is a 5. First across the finish line is going to be the winner. Doesn't matter who you use, but of your colour, you want one of your people across the line. Very, very, very short track. Normally it's about 20 pieces long. These pieces are double-sided, so you have a big letter, like a big U, and a lowercase u. So a finish in this case could be a regular finish. But let's just show you a short example. So you are going to draw 2 cards. You want to draw 4 cards, respective to whichever rider you want to pick first to go. So we know the sprinter can go up to 9. And we don't have a 9 here, so do I want to go slow or fast? Well, wherever you choose to go, if there is a gap of 1 between you and the rider in front, you move up to it. If there's more than a gap of 1, then you're actually going to get stuck, and it means that you are going to exhaust because you no longer have slipstream. So let's play a low value just to show you what can happen. So you pick the 2, the rest of the cards go face up at the very bottom, and you're going to have that card face down to pick, and then you're going to go to your next deck. So you need to pick one before you pick the other. And this time, again, you don't know what you're going to be drawing. We have a 4 or maybe a 7. So I'm going to try a 7, just to really push for that finish line. Again, this is a very short track, but just to show you how it works. Now it's their turn. Let's just go random, maybe. So let's move, and we're going to move 2. And this guy, of course, we're moving 7. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you are in the lead, you always take the rightmost space. It gives you the advantage. If you ever cross the finish line, you will win ties. So next up, we have the other character. What are they going to do? Well, let's have a look. Let's say, well, let's just see what their 4 cards would have been. 1, 2, 3, 4, and see if we can play any of those things. So let's say we have a sprinter and it can play 9. So in this case, it would go all the way to the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because it's behind, it can move here. But maybe you want to play a lower value. If we play like a 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's play that again for their sprinter. And then those would go to the bottom face up. The reason why I do that is when you get through all of these cards, and you're drawing 4 and you haven't got to 4, you draw the 3, shuffle those, and you draw one of those. Okay. Now we have the rouleur for red. 1, 2, 3, 4. In this instance, they're very even. You can see how far, obviously, you were before, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who knows? Let's play 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. Let's just play a 6. But of course, we didn't know where everyone else would be, but we know where our sprinter would have been first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there we go. Now what happens? Well, you are now going to be going through and moving everyone up. So right now we start at the back, so that does join up. And then this one joins up here because of the slipstream, the gap of only 1. And then we see who's taking fatigue. So right now we do have someone taking fatigue because there's nothing in front whereby they're slipstreaming. So there's always going to be someone who's going to be suffering exhaustion, as it's known as. So in this instance, the fatigue is going to be going to that blue rouleur player, which is bad. It means that on a future turn, they are drawing a card. It's either going to be blue, of course, for a sprinter, and it's going to have a 2 value on it, which represents that they of course, are going to be potentially drawing a 2 card and then suffering from that by playing the wrong value, by playing a card which, of course, is not very fast, considering it's a race to get to that finish line. So that's where the exhaustion cards are. And then finally, we've got to get out our red exhaustion cards. So again, the opponent won't know what we're playing. It could well be a red card. So now we know that the rouleur is taking a red card. It takes that red card and it goes to the bottom. Again, you're going to be drawing up another 4 cards, but eventually that red card will be coming into the deck. And maybe your card hand is full of 4 red cards, which does happen. It's happened to me. It's happened numerous times. My very first game, in fact, I raced to the finish line, but then I ran out of cards and literally only had 2s left. So in this case, this guy has just taken a red number. And now you go again. Now, we do have this red zone. So let me just show you, just by using, let me just use 4 cards and show you how it's going to work with an uphill bit. So we've got 4 cards. So let's have a look. They are all of, well, high enough value that we're going to go into here. Absolutely. So in this case, the maximum value is a 5. So whatever card I play, if I played a 2 or a 3, whatever it might be, eventually, when we all reveal, it's going to move 1, 2, 3. That's fine. It could even cross the finish line for 4. It could even cross the finish line for 5. And if that's far enough along, it's going to win. In this case, it's guaranteed to win because when you hit these slopes, let's show you an example. 1, 2, let's use the sprinter, let's say, because we know we can go higher. Do we have any, we don't have anything higher after all that. But if we had, let's say, a 9 or a 7 in this case, then the 7 here would go 1, 2. It can't go higher than that, so it's going to go 3, 4, 5, because the maximum value is pedaling. It doesn't matter how much power you use, it's going to get so exhausted going up a hill, the highest value it can ever use from whatever card you play is a 5. But if you play a 2, it's going to move 2. If you move a 3, 4, 5, 6, again, it won't get you there. If you happen to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces away, and you play a 6, you're going to end up behind the space. So you can't move into it because ultimately you can only move up to a 5. So you've got to be either starting, if you're starting before it, or you're starting on it, or you're going off it, it's only worth up to a 5. So all those 9s, 7s and 6s are useless to you in that instance. So be wary of this. Aside from that, there are other kind of boards. You can have a board like this, whereby it's blue. So blue is going downhill, nice and smooth and fast. So now let's change this around a bit. So we've seen what a finish looks like. If it happens to be on a slope like this, let's show you what happens. So imagine we're starting in here. Let's just use 2 characters, for example. And let's just swap this over. The way it's going to work now, and these boards always work whereby it's going to literally all fit in shot pretty much because it's all going to just go around here. And just show you an example. You can see that there's like a starting example. So it all wiggles around. We have corners and stuff like this. So again, if you happen to start here and you're playing 4 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to pick one of these. Let's pick a 3. So the rest again will go to the bottom. The reason why you might want to play a 3 is because you will always move a minimum 5. So you spend a 3, a nice cheap 3, but instead you are moving up to, of course, 5. So you're moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. So you've actually benefited from going downhill. You've used a little bit of power, so less power, to benefit more from it. Again, you could chuck on a 9 and just move 9. You can move a 7 or a 6 and move 7 or 6. But if you chuck down a 4, you're moving 5. Chuck down a 3, you're moving 5. Chuck down a 5, you're moving 5. So that's how that works. Again, being aware of where, of course, you are relevant to everyone else. Keeping an eye, there's only one of everything, or 3 of everything in this case. And you can look through your discard pile. So you are aware of how many cards you've spent. You might have that 1-9 left to obviously push for the finish line. Bearing in mind you could be drawing more exhaustion cards, but at that point it doesn't matter, it's just who finishes line first. In the Grand Tour you get more points, so if you finish first and fourth, it's still better than finishing second and third. So that's how the game goes. That is literally it. Briefly telling you about Meteo, I think I might as well just jump onto that now. The difference with Meteo, it's obviously a separate bit, a separate box that you can use and have play with it. Again, you don't have to be playing with it, but ultimately it adds things like a tailwind, so it lets you draw extra cards, or fewer cards with a headwind. It could be wet, so again, you might actually lose some spaces, and you can have crosswinds, which means you can never actually slipstream for the riders as well. So lots of things you can do, little sections along the route, whereby it kind of represents those particular parts of it as well. So very, very nice. I very much enjoy the game. I give it a 7.5. Great game, highly enjoyable, and I highly recommend check it out. Of course, it's quite interesting to see how many exhaustion cards people have, and bearing in mind that you could have more exhaustion and still win, you might have fewer exhaustion, and that might be why you won. So there is another game called Heat, which presently I think I'm preferring this game, even though I haven't actually played Heat, but based on how it works and some of the complexities I think of it, I think I like the smoothness and pureness of this game, to be honest. Yeah, I would very much like to give Heat a go and see the comparisons. But yeah, very smooth, very accessible, very enjoyable, and I highly recommend this game. So this is Flamme Rouge. You'll find this in the How to Set Up, Play and Review playlist, the AmassGames playlist, amongst many others. If you have any other questions, please of course let me know. And there is of course that Facebook group which you can join in the discussion of as well. So make sure your cards are correctly assigned. In this case, some of these cards have been accidentally muddled up. And for now, time to say, back to the table.